I was, I'd say I was truly surprised. I didn't think that my actions were deserving of an award, more that I think they were just the right thing to do at the time. Now it's settled in, of course, I'm thrilled and honoured to have won it, and hope that the little story that I have will inspire others to do the right thing for their vulnerable clients. Yeah, the first thing I do with my Vulnerable Customer Award is visit the care home where the gentleman who I assisted lived before he passed away. I know that the team there will be absolutely thrilled that we received the award, and I'd definitely like to share it with them. To summarise my entry, I was introduced to a chap who was 103 years old. He needed some assistance with an equity release mortgage. So he'd taken out the mortgage in his 80s, but received some letters to say that his debt was going to be now more than the value of his property. He was hard of hearing, so I offered to go and see him, and we put his mind at ease when I arrived to say that the mortgage lender wouldn't evict him from his home. And as we chatted, he opened up and said that he was struggling to live independently and had been considering moving into a residential home. Unfortunately, he didn't have any family left. He'd outlived everybody, and the local authority weren't being overly supportive, so I just felt like I should help. So we went to go and see some care homes together, but he loved popping across the street to Sainsbury's to get his sherry every day, so he loved his independence and decided to stay put for the time being. So I visited him regularly, just to give him some social contact. And then one evening I got a phone call from the ambulance service to say he'd had a fall. As it turns out, he'd added me as his emergency contact, but he was okay, thankfully. But we definitely realised at that point it was time to move. So we went back to see the homes again, and I helped him with his move and sorting out his mortgage, and continued to visit him at the home. Really lucky to celebrate his 104th birthday with him. We had a big party. But then, of course, the pandemic hit, and I couldn't see him until he later passed away during the pandemic at 105 years old. In terms of what I demonstrated, I think if anything, it's just a bit of compassion, maybe willingness to listen, and of course, just a desire to want to help somebody that I think was in need. Yeah, I'd say the single biggest challenge is recognising vulnerability, particularly in situations where the individual might not necessarily realise that vulnerability exists. It's not uncommon for the clients to not realise that they may fall within the vulnerable client framework, so we need to make sure that we are watching out and ensure we fully understand somebody's situation, so we can put processes in place in order to help them out. Yeah, consumer duty will have an impact on all businesses, I think, in the industry. I feel that we already operate in a manner that aligns with the new legislation, but I think it's a positive step forward for financial services. And in terms of the vulnerable client space, my hope is that new rules will open up more communication options and different types of format for clients. Yeah, we intend to ramp up our vulnerability agenda next year by increasing training, both in and out of our practice. We're looking to host a number of client events to discuss various later life matters, everything from wills and LPAs, planning for care, dementia awareness, to name but a few. Awareness for us is the key, and over the next year, I do intend to use the visibility of this award to promote greater awareness of the key drivers of vulnerability. Yeah, we evaluate and benchmark the training needs of our staff by providing access to structured exam-based training, including education on vulnerability. We do hold regular training sessions on vulnerable customer matters, and we do put incentives in place for reaching certain learning objectives and benchmarks, and also professional qualifications. On a day-to-day basis, we also operate a system where we sit down as a team to discuss the advice that's being given to clients, particularly those in the vulnerable customer space, so as to promote learning and best practice. Yeah, We ensure consistency of approach within our business by having an advice framework that ensures all of our work fits within defined guidelines. Our team have access to a wide range of guidance and assistance in the form of videos, literature, or even just a call to discuss a particular case in detail. We've had some great support from providers, but we particularly like the online vulnerability training that Just do. So if anything, I think we'd like to see greater levels of training, maybe aimed at some of the staff as well as the advisors, and a wider range of available communication formats, particularly those with hearing or visual impairments. There are a number of initiatives that we use within the firm to support our vulnerable clients. The things that I would suggest other firms adopt would be, firstly, maybe the use of language that doesn't put a negative label on vulnerability. As an example, initiatives such as Dementia Friends, a programme with the Alzheimer's Society, are a great way of promoting language that we can use, and particularly to convey a more positive perception of a dementia as a condition. And also, don't be afraid to discuss vulnerability. A significant number of people are dealing with one or more vulnerabilities, and open, honest, positive conversations that address these matters will reduce the stigma that's attached to those vulnerabilities, which in turn I think will help overall client outcome. Yes, we were working with a new client who, when we were discussing the need for an LPA, revealed that she was an attorney for her mother, who had recently been diagnosed with dementia. So it transpired that she'd taken responsibility for her mother's care, and this was putting quite a significant emotional strain on her and her family. So as a result, we handled her advice to best assist her, and in fact ended up arranging her mother's financial affairs as well. But it was clear that she as an individual was vulnerable as well because of the issue with her mother, and the work that we did took a huge amount of pressure off her. I'd advise anyone thinking about entering the Just Vulnerable Customer Awards to just give it a go. Firstly, like me, you might end up with a nice surprise and win. But secondly, I think that it definitely makes you concentrate a little bit more about the work you carry out in the vulnerable customer space. And hopefully it would not only push you to strive further, but also is a good thing for all your clients.